Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a story of how I ended up buying my very first Rolex, a Datejust 41 with a blue dial, for my wedding. This was the one watch that kicked off an obsession I never saw coming, and the funny thing is, I wasn't even aiming for a Rolex at first. Originally, I was set on a Cartier Tank. It was sleek, elegant, and it was definitely perfect for the wedding. But then COVID hit, the plan shifted, and what was supposed to be simple watch choice turned into a 6 month journey that completely changed how I saw watches. But let's get into it. Before we begin, please hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more watch content. So feel free to get some coffee and let's discuss about watches. Back in 2022, we were just a couple of weeks out from our destination wedding in Hawaii when the world hit pause again. A new COVID variant forced us to cut our guest list down to 20 people, including the staff. This was not acceptable. It was very heartbreaking at the time, especially after all that planning and excitement. But ultimately, we had no choice. We ended up pushing the wedding back by 6 months, which gave us some time to reassess and refine a lot of our details, from logistics to aesthetics. One of those personal details for me was the watch. Originally, I was planning to shop for a watch 2 to 3 days before the wedding while in Hawaii. Looking back, that would have been way too rushed for such an important piece. Before all the changes, I had my eye on a Cartier Tank XL. It's such a timeless piece, elegant, clean, and it would look great in a tux. I have also considered Omega Speedmaster, just because of its legacy and versatility. Both were solid choices, and honestly, I still think they're fantastic watches for anyone would be proud to own. But something in the back of my mind kept nagging at me, the idea that if I didn't at least try for a Rolex, I might always wonder, what if? That extra time from the wedding delay gave me some room to explore, research, and eventually make a decision to go after a watch I've always admired, but never thought I'd actually get. So with all that extra time, I started researching watches like a man possessed. Cartier was off the table, while Omega still had my respect, especially the Speedmaster. Something about Rolex just wouldn't let go of my brain. I was deep diving into YouTube videos, forums, and watch reviews, especially ones titled Best Watches for Your Wedding Day. Over and over, I see the Rolex Datejust pop up in recommendations. In white dials, black dials, and even a chocolate dial two-tone rose gold model. They all look stunning and elegant, and the more I saw, the more I started to get drawn into it. But when I finally saw the Datejust 41 with the blue dial in one of those videos, it just stopped me cold. That moment was the moment I knew. The blue dial paired with the fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet, it had this incredible balance of elegance and personality. It just looks formal enough for a suit and tie, but not so serious that it could be worn with jeans and t-shirts. I started imagining how it would look in wedding photos, under the Hawaiian sunlight, and on my wrist years from now. It checked every box. It was timeless, versatile, and something I will never get tired of seeing. From that point forward, my mission was clear. It was either the Rolex Datejust or bust. So back in 2022, this was during the peak of Rolex mania, when stainless steel models, especially the ones everyone wanted, were nearly impossible to find. I had my heart set on the Datejust 41, ideally within the blue dial, fluted bezel, and Jubilee bracelet. It just hit that perfect balance of elegance and everyday wear. I visited multiple ADs, hoping to get lucky, but every store gave me the same response. Nothing's available. Then I met a sales associate at one boutique who actually seemed invested. She took the time to talk to me and my wife, asked about our wedding, and didn't treat me just like another name on the list. When I told her I was looking for my wedding watch, she really listened. And In the Rolex world, sharing a life event like a wedding is often your best bet at moving up in the list. People try all sorts of stories: promotions, graduations, anniversaries, but this one was real for us. She let me try on a few Datejust display pieces, but of course, none were for sale. Still, she gave me her card, took down my info, and she said to stay in touch. And I did. I checked in every 2 weeks like clockwork. Always polite, always hopeful, but every time, the answer was still the same. Nothing yet. This went on for 5 straight months, and as the wedding date got closer, I started to panic. I didn't want to walk down the aisle in a watch I settled for. I wanted that Datejust, and while the odds weren't looking good, something in me just wasn't ready to give up. 1 month before the wedding, with nerves setting in and hope running low, I decided to walk into the boutique again, just to try one last time. I wasn't expecting anything. I just needed to feel that watch on my wrist to see if it still sparks joy. I asked if I could try on that Datejust 41 in the blue dial with that exact spec that I have been chasing for. As I slipped it on, that feeling came rushing back again. It wasn't just a watch anymore. It was definitely part of the story. I told the sales associate my wedding was just a few weeks away and that I was starting to feel desperate. Honestly, I was about to ask if she could recommend a great dealer nearby. Since they didn't carry them in this boutique, I figured I need a backup plan. She looked at me for a moment, probably reading the disappointment on my face. Then she told me to hang on just for a minute. She walked over to her manager, and 2 of them had a quick and quiet conversation. I watched them from across the room, trying not to get my hopes up. I've been here before. But when she came back, she surprised me. Do you want the fluted or the smooth bezel? Just like this, like it was like no big deal. I immediately blinked. Did that mean that what I thought it meant? I told her immediately, fluid bezel, Jubilee bracelet, exactly what my heart was set on. She smiled and nodded, saying she knew that was the best configuration. It was the moment I have been dreaming about for months, and I finally felt real. She brought out the watch, carefully sized it to my wrist, and definitely cleaned it up before handing it over. From how everything played out, I still think that watch was probably meant for someone else, maybe another client who hasn't picked it up yet. But somehow, that day, it became mine. I thanked her and told her how much this meant to me. She asked if I could send some photos from the wedding, which made me wonder if she needed proof for the system, or maybe she wanted to share in the moment. On the drive home, I remember telling my wife I wasn't going to wear it until the wedding day. It sat in the box like a little time capsule for anticipation. It was my first Rolex. In one of my favorite colors, I couldn't stop smiling. So, on the morning of the wedding, I finally took the Datejust out of its box. The first time since it's been sized. I slipped it onto my wrist and just stared at it for a long time. The weight felt perfect, the blue dial looked even better than I remembered, and that fluted bezel caught the light in the softest, most elegant way. I stood there, lost in the moment, until I realized, oh right, I still had to get married. It was like the final piece of the puzzle was finally in place, and it instantly felt like it has always been mine. As I walked down the aisle under the Hawaiian sun, that Jubilee bracelet shimmered like it was made for the occasion. I had picked out matching blue dial Seikos for all my groomsmen, not just to match the Datejust, but also tie us to the ocean that has been part of our love story since day one. Even now, they still wear those watches as everyday reminders of our celebration. Later in the evening, during our first dance in the reception hall, the light caught my wife's jewelry and my watch at the right angle. The whole moment sparkled. It was surreal. I remember thinking, this is it. This is what forever feels like. I knew right then that memory would live with me for the rest of my life, and that watch would always be part of it. Since then, this Datejust has become one of my go-to watches. It doesn't matter if I'm in jeans, a suit, or just a hoodie. It fits in every outfit and every vibe. I've worn it on casual night outs, to work meetings, and even while lounging around. It's become that dependable piece I reach out for without overthinking it. No matter what I pair with, it always managed to look polished and effortless. Since then, it has taken a few knocks along the way. I banged it up under reception tables, scraped it on doorknobs. I even dropped it once while traveling. But it still looks incredible. Every little mark adds to its story instead of taking away from it. Even though I've picked up other watches since, this one holds something they don't. A connection to a moment, a place, and a feeling I'll never forget. It's not just a watch anymore, it's a time capsule. And to this day, I still smile every time I put it on. So that's my story of how I got this watch. It marked a moment, a memory, and a milestone. What started as a postponed wedding turned into a gift I gave myself that keeps giving. It was the beginning of a new chapter of my life, and honestly, the start of my whole new obsession. And every collector knows, it starts with just one. If you're considered a Rolex for a big life event, I say go for it. If you enjoyed this story, or if you got a watch that marks this special moments in your life, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more watch stories, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, stay clocked in.